Hey, Coach Abel here along with Coach Weiss of the Abel Body Experts, and we're getting a lot of questions lately that sort of tell us that we need to sort of backtrack a little bit in what we're posting as video clips and whatnot to explain concepts a little more. So we're going to explain right now a basic front reach lunge. We get a lot of questions on the variations of reach lunges and how they're done and whatnot. So we just want to explain why they're effective, how to do them, and we're going to explain to you the concepts of progressions and digressions. So first thing you want to know about a reach lunge is that you want it to be reaching in the aspect that you are going to round and bend your back. We do want a kyphotic posture and not a lordotic posture. So before you do the reach lunge, coach, just show them the difference. So a regular lunge you would use in bodybuilding work has the straight back, all right, and that's to overload the leg. Now a reach lunge is more kinetic chain involved, and you actually bend over, all right?
A lot of people get scared of doing that because they think, oh, you can't bend your back like that, you're going to hurt your back.
And it's actually quite good to loosening up your back.
Yeah.
Then we get a little bit of hip action and extension and flexion as well. So we're going to start with a basic front reach lunge, and we're not even going to progress it. We're just going to start, coach, showing range of motion. So let's say you're using it as a warm-up. You might be tight in the back or the shoulders, so you wouldn't even try to touch the ground, let's say. You're just going to take a step front, and you're just going to reach, even less. Sometimes you just,
your step can be shorter.
Your step is shorter, so range of motion, you start very short, and you bend right over it. Okay, you don't even have to reach beyond it. And you round the back. Now, coach is doing alternating. As you can see, we also get questions on that a lot. What's the difference between alternating and single side or one leg? Well, we thought that was obvious, but it's not. So alternating just means you do, show them alternating again, coach. So you do right leg, then left leg would be 1 rep, and you're alternating. Now single side, go ahead, coach. So he's just going to stay with the right leg and do all single side or 1 leg version.
If you have a hard time keeping your balance doing them, that's probably the best one to start with. Some people fall over if they alternate, right? Yeah,
because it can bending over and standing up. Their brains aren't used to that, and it sort of rattles. So one of the ways we can progress this, as coach just showed, is range of motion. So as you get warming up, you're going to step longer. So you increase your range of motion, and you bend over the front foot rather than touching it. So you've increased the range of motion, and that's considered a progression. All right, now another way we're going to progress it is we're going to add resistance. So coach is going to pick up a core ball, all right, and he's just going to do the same thing, but now we've added resistance. So he's doing single leg front reach lunge, all right, and just show him the difference with and I use a dumbbell sometimes. You just hold it end to end, same thing as a ball.
Yeah, you can pretty much hold anything for resistance.
Sure. And you don't even have to curl it up. You can just leave it hanging. So you see how he reaches over the foot and bends. So we've got a progression of basic range of motion and resistance. And now if we want to add an ultimate progression, we'll add movement to that. We'll create a kinetic chain. So let's say an alternating reach lunge, coach, with use the dumbbell skill with a hammer curl. Hold it by both ends. So he's going to do a reach lunge. He comes up, he puts in a hammer curl, reach lunge, pulls up into a hammer curl, reach lunge, pulls up into a hammer curl. All right? So that's your basic front reach lunge with progressions. If we wanted to digress it, what do, coach? We slow it down, and we use less range of motion. So people out there with a bad back, things like that, okay, he wants to be a star. All right, you're just going to take a less step, and you're not going to reach down as far. Maybe you got a tight back. Maybe you hurt yourself deadlifting or something. It's no reason to avoid activating the muscles. So you just come, maybe you touch your shin until you'll feel your body start to open up, and then when it does, you reach to the floor.
A lot of people, when they're trying to progress it, they get a little bit carried away because we've always used speed as a progression. And some people have really taken that a bit too far, so do you want to kind of explain what you're talking about with that?
If you're thinking speed is a good thing, but you're using so much speed that you're creating momentum, then that's not a progression anymore, it's a digression. So if you're just thundering through thinking you're adding a progression should mean that what you're doing is more difficult, not less difficult.
Yeah. Or you're falling all over the place, that's another thing.
And the example that everyone always uses is, it's like riding a bike. the slower you go, the harder it is to balance and control. But once you're used to riding a bike, if you go fast, then the momentum is actually doing the work for you, and that's not what you want. So that's a long explanation of a basic front reach lunge, single side and alternating, and how to add progression, range of motion, speed, resistance, and combination movement. And that's the Abel Body Experts front reach lunge.